Hi guys, it's Mrs. Seitz. Today we're going to be talking about special functions, okay? And a special test that we can use to determine if we in fact have a function or not that we're dealing with. And we're going to be looking at points, we're going to be looking at graphs, and we're going to be looking at something called a mapping diagram to determine if we have a function or not. So these are all called relations, okay? And a relation pairs inputs with outputs. A special case of a relation that pairs each input with exactly one output is called a function. And we've been talking about the word function before, okay? And that's when I've been talking to you guys about the vending machine, right? And if you want to just write that here, because we've been talking about that before, okay? But you have to pass the test on this one, the vending machine test, right? So you push your button for B6. If you get one package of peanut M&Ms, then it's a function, right? You put your input, you get one output, okay? So regardless if we have a set of ordered pairs, or if we're looking at a graph, or we're looking at a mapping diagram, it has to pass that test, okay? So when we look at the situation here, the x's in our case are our input, okay? So we have 0, 1, 2, and then we have another 2, okay? So when I look at this, I know the 0 has an output of 2, okay? So that input of 0 has an output of 2, so that's okay. All right, the input of 1 has an output of 4, and that passes the test. All right, now I'm getting a little bit worried down here because I see the input value of 2 listed twice. So that means when I push the 2 on the vending machine, I not only got peanut M&Ms, but I also got the Twix bar again, okay? So do you see how whenever I have the input value of 2 listed here, it has two different outcomes. It has an outcome or an output of 6, and it also has an output value of 7 listed. Because I have two different outputs listed here, this makes this not a function. So in this case, this is just a relation, okay? This does not pass the function test because at the input value of 2, I have more than one output. I have an output at 6 and I have an output at 7. All right, let's see what this looks like in a table. All right, so I'm scanning my input values, okay? I'm looking to see if I have a repeat in my input values. That's the big test. All right, everything looks to be okay, but let's just double check. At -2, I have an output of 2. Okay, so the input of -2 has one output. Okay, so that looks okay. -1 has one output. 0 has one output of 0. 1 has one output of 1. And 2 has one output of 2. Now, you might be saying, well, wait a second. I see a 2 listed here and a 2 listed here. That's not okay. But if you think about it, it's not that we care about. It's where we have the inputs, okay? When we look at -2, 2, and 2, 2, because we're worried about that one, okay? We want to think about this from the vending machine perspective, right? If I pushed, let's say, -2 on the vending machine, I got peanut M&Ms. And I got pushed 2 on the vending machine. I still got the same thing. I got peanut M&Ms, okay? But I'm still only getting one thing out of the vending machine. This would be like the situation in the vending machine where you have multiple rows of peanut M&Ms because they're so popular, okay? It's not like we're shaking the machine and getting more than one outcome, okay? That happened in this situation right here, okay? When we look at this situation, like at 2, 6 and 2, 7, we pushed the outcome of 2 or the input of 2 and we had an outcome of 6 and we had an outcome of 7. Okay, so we pushed the input of 2 and we had 2 different outcomes. So basically, we're looking to see if we have a multiple value listed in our inputs, because if we have the multiple value listed in our input, we have a problem. Okay, and let's see what C looks like. Okay, C is called a mapping diagram. Okay, and how this works is this shows you a bunch of ordered pairs. Okay, and how that shows you, this is kind of like your X's, these are like your Y's. Okay, so how you would read this is the input value of 2 is going to the output of 10. So this would be like the ordered pair 210. The input value of 4 looks like it's headed to 5, but the input value of 4 also looks like it's headed to 15. The input value of 6 is also going to 15. So when I look at C, here's the part that's kind of worrying me right here, because I have an input value of 4 that's listed more than once, and it's going to 2 different outputs, okay? Because this is going to 2 different outputs, the input is going to 2 different outputs. This is not a function. Up here, we had a function, and the reason why we had a function is each input has one output. Okay. Now, the next situation that you guys are going to see in your notes involves a graph, and there will be another video included that will be a special test that you can use that will help you about any time you have a graph and how you can determine if a graph is in fact a function.